Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Sophia Wardell, and today we have a very special guest, fantasy author D.L. Jennings. D.L. Jennings is a 14-year active duty veteran of the United States Air Force, serving under the Air Force Special Operations Command. He finished writing his debut novel, Gift of the Shaper, while serving overseas on his 9th combat tour. Since then, he has written 2 more books to complete his high-grade trilogy, Awaken the Three and Days of Dark. Hey, DL, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Sure, we're happy to have you back. And today I want to talk a little bit about social media and public relations with you. So, DL, what type of content do you find most resonates with your fantasy audience?
Well, that's a great question. And I think the answer is genuine content. And it's always the stuff that my readers and my fan base can connect with me on that seems to resonate the most with them. When I'm putting stuff out about how I feel about, a certain book, how something made me feel, my reaction to in April I did a book fest, and I was overjoyed at the turnout for one, and with being able to connect with my readers for another. I made a whole bunch of new friends, got a whole bunch of books into new hands, and I made after it was over, I went in my car and I sat and I recorded a video of my thoughts and like how just overwhelmed and happy I was with that. And that was literally my most successful reel, I think, for the year. I wasn't expecting it to do that well. I was actually shocked at the response of it. But I really feel when people make genuine content like that and when they say what's from their heart, because that's what we do as authors, right? That's where we wear our hearts on our sleeves, and we're putting ourselves out there for the world. So I think as writers, as authors, when we do that through other media, I really think that's some of the best stuff that you can do. You can put that out there and be vulnerable. Don't be afraid to do that. And don't be afraid to let your readers and your fans see who you are as a person.
Yeah. And speaking of other media, you're very popular on Instagram and TikTok. Do you post the same content on both platforms? And if not, why?
I sometimes do. And, I think Reels and TikTok are pretty interchangeable. There's some stuff that I will only post on TikTok and some other stuff that I'll only post on Reels. Just for, like I'll post like vacation stuff on TikTok. And because I think it's the way the algorithm works, and I won't even pretend to understand it. But one of the pieces of advice I got was you want to post content that is native to the platform that you're posting on. So, obviously you're not going to post a 30-minute YouTube video to TikTok, but Reels and TikTok, I think, are so interchangeable that it's pretty much okay for you to be able to post one thing to another. So it's kind of like it's almost a coin toss with me. It's just how I'm feeling, whether or not I'm going to post it to both platforms. But I'd say for the most part, yeah, at 90% overlap on both of those platforms.
And how would you say that you keep your content fresh and engaging over time, besides being all organic?
That's definitely something that I struggle with. And I really think that I am constantly trying to find ways to post new content, but you really have to pay attention to what is viral, what's going on. Another piece of advice that I got is if you are not posting viral stuff, your stuff is not going to go viral, which seems very self-explanatory. But when you're scrolling through your feed, your Instagram feed or whatever, or your TikTok homepage, you want to pick up on these videos that you're seeing like different variations of, sound clips that are being reused over and over again. It's hard to sort of turn on that creator switch in your head but you want to be like, I've seen that a couple times. That is probably trending right now. And you pick up on that, turn around, and sometimes in the same day, I've turned around and made a reel that's based off of a trending sound or something that's going on. So they say that the best readers make the best writers, right? You want to be a reader if you're going to be a good writer. And I think that goes the same for social media. You want to be a consumer of it if you're going to be a content creator, and there's really no way to do one without the other.
Right. I like that. And they always say this in investing, if you're using it, if you bought it and you're using it, it's most likely an emerging thing and everybody's going to be using it. So again, same thing goes for social media. If you're liking those reels and you think they're funny and you like the music, use them, save the audio, use it for your own.
Yeah.
And I want to talk a little bit about growth with you and promotion. Do you focus more on organic growth with your platforms only, or do you use paid promotions?
I have used paid promotions in the past, and I think they have their place, and I think they are beneficial. And organic growth to me is pretty difficult, but it's also very rewarding because those are the people who are going to be interacting with you. And it's reaching out, it's following people who are doing what you're doing. And you want to make sure that you are following the right people. You want to make sure that your Instagram feed is full of content that you also want to be pushing out. So if you're a travel blogger, fill it with travel blog stuff. If you're a writer, fill it with bookstagram stuff. I think that's one of the things that I see writers doing, and a mistake that I made personally when I first started out on Instagram. I hadn't found my niche, and I was just living my life as Dave Jennings, right? I wasn't DL Jennings yet. I was just Dave Jennings in the Air Force, going on trips, and maybe posting something about, oh, by the way, I also wrote a book. And it was being able to focus that fire when I really started gaining followers and sort of figuring out like, oh, so this is how that works. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. People are going to pay attention to the stuff that they want to and that they like. So definitely, find your niche. I think that's the most important part.
Yeah. And I like how you noted to kind of stick to the branding a little bit once you figure out what's working.
Yep.
Now, I want to backtrack for a second and I want you to tell us a little bit more about Bookfest. Where
Hmm.
was that and how did that work?
It's funny because it was in Akron. I live in Pittsburgh, so it was about 2 hour drive. But I found out about it through a friend of mine, a guy I also served with, who now he retired and lives in Akron. And I can't remember if he tagged me in it or if he sent it to me, but he was like, "Hey man, I know that you are in Pittsburgh now. I think this would be a really cool opportunity." And I had that was the first book fest that I'd actually done. I hadn't as an indie author, I hadn't had a lot of guidance. So most of my information came from internet searches that I had done and from following other authors who were successful. And it's very difficult to make a blueprint out of something like that if you don't know how to draw blueprints, right? It's just,
Right.
I had like a sticker board that I'm just throwing things at. And this opportunity came across, and I was like, yeah, that sounds like something that I really like to do. And if you couldn't tell from my reaction before, it was like one of the best things that I'd done. And I was floored at the exposure that it was giving me. I was sat next to another successful author who'd gotten her start in short stories, and that's how she launched her career. Short stories is something that I'd never done. I'd thought about doing them and I wanted to have them published. So I was able to pick her brain for the 6 hours that we were sitting together. And I was like, how do I get a short story published? So something that I'm still working on, but now I know the path. And that was hugely beneficial for me. So it was a an opportunity that presented itself to me because of my, my hooks in social media and my friends who were there for me and always looking to give me the next opportunity. And again, I think it comes back to that being genuine, right?
Right.
And they see me as this approachable person, which I like to think that I am, and they see me as someone who they want to help, and who they want to see be successful. So that was I'm incredibly grateful for that opportunity that presented itself to me.
And how many books do you think you sell at these events like Book Fest?
I think I sold, I mean, something like 30 books, which, blew my mind. Again, as an indie author, um, I thank God I have a day job because, I'd be a starving artist otherwise. But, this was something that I looked at my sales for that day and I was like, I think I sold more today than I have this entire month. And it was like, absolutely floored me. So very, very cool.
Well, DL, thank you. That was great input on social media.
Mhm. Thank you.
Lastly, where can our listeners find and connect with you?
I have my website, dl-jennings.com. I'm active on Instagram at dl.jennings and TikTok, which is also dl-jennings.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to today's interview with fantasy author DL Jennings. Be sure to check out our website for more videos. Wishing you all a fulfilling and successful writing journey.